Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first ever premiere episode of the Elevate News Wrestling podcast. We are a brand new wrestling YouTube channel. We are trying to elevate the news of professional wrestling while providing our own little intake here. I am the Puerto Rican Prince, Angel Santiago, and I'm joined here by my partner, the universe, Lucas Greifzu.
What's up? How's it going?
So let's get right into the news now, ladies and gentlemen. Lucas, what is our first topic we're going to be talking about today?
Well, big news yesterday coming out of NXT/TNA is Joe Hendry losing the TNA Championship on WWE programming.
Yeah, I'll be real, I was really surprised by that because I thought this was all a ploy to just get Trick Williams to do another thing before he goes back to the NXT title picture. And now I just don't really understand. I mean, you're not going to have Nick Nemeth beat him right now, it seems, unless this is to get another NXT guy to beat him for the TNA title. But then also, like, is Trick Williams going to go now to TNA and do all those tapings and those dates and stuff? Like, I'm, like, confused.
Right. The only thing I can think of outside of what you said is him just sort of taking a break before going back to Opa Femi is if WWE is, like, working to buy TNA and if they're going to, like, move someone else
Right.
down there or whatever to wrestle him.
Honestly, I could see that if they did Trick Williams. And then also, if you could bring as many people down as you can then. And if they were to do a title unification with the NXT title, that would actually make sense. Kind of like how they did with the NXT UK title. Like, it kind of provided an opportunity to go for the NXT title.
I don't even know if they need to do unification because, I mean, forgetting NXT, the main roster has a ton of guys like AJ Styles or Karrion Kross or like great wrestlers that they're just not doing anything with who they could.
Well, okay, so that's funny you mentioned that because I was like, in my opinion, if you were going to have a WWE guy get the TNA title, I thought it would be like an AJ Styles, Karrion Kross, any of the guys who even like had even honestly like a Sabin who was TNA champion before. I thought that they would be more likely to get that championship over somebody who, I mean, not that like, oh, he's a star and he isn't, but like, I think that Trick Williams has more to do on the main roster than he does just.
He's still growing.
Yeah, meddling around on NXT. I'm like, it's not like he's like, oh, like this is, he has nothing left to do. It's like, no, he's never been North American champion. He's never won the Heritage Cup. I don't think he's been tag champs. I don't think him and Melo won those.
No.
So it's like, I feel like there was a lot of other avenues they could have gone, but like, obviously they want him to be seen as like a world champion, but I don't know.
Right. It feels kind of forced, I think. But I mean, at the same time, you were just telling me that Henry's contract was expiring anyway. And obviously WWE wanted him on the main roster. So, I mean, I can't say that I'm like super shocked he's losing the belt. I just think it's interesting that they're giving it to an NXT guy, especially on a WWE show, not a TNA show.
Well, that's what I find interesting too, because the way that this has gone, like, Hendry lost to Randy Orton quick at WrestleMania to a point where I was like, okay, this is not a squash of TNA, but like, they wanted to get the biggest pop they could. And then I know Orton was going to go face Cena then for like the big time for the WWE Undisputed title. So it all made sense. But now I'm like, so where does that put Trick? Like, okay, so if something were like that to happen again, where he goes up to the main roster to defend the title, does he get squashed? Does he win? Like, and if he does win, is that not just the biggest middle finger to TNA in the entire world? They're like, well, only our guys can defend your title and actually have a competitive match. Other than that, like, nah, your guys have to be squashed every single time. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. So, but speaking of TNA, Santana now has debuted in NXT in a backstage segment. He's going to be on now Wednesday, or Tuesday rather, for NXT, going against, I think it's Miles Bourne. Yeah, I mean, that's fascinating in and of itself. I don't really know how big of a needle mover Santana is when it comes to the NXT ratings, but that's kind of like the theme of these TNA guys coming over.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've always just seen Santana as his tag team. I mean, obviously he does single stuff. Yeah. I've always like his tag stuff has been better. I guess that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, I don't think he's had like a marquee match as a singles competitor. On top of that, too, again, it goes right back to the Trick Williams thing. Santana was, I think that, again, unless this is this long-term story to get Santana to go beat Trick Williams and he kind of invades NXT that way. But I think we're starting to run into a problem of people being like, okay, You've had Rosemary, Alexander Hammerstone, who technically also wasn't a TNA wrestler at the point, which was weird that they had him wrestle there. But anyway, you had I'm trying to think about it. Joe Hendry, obviously, and now Santana. Like you have so many TNA guys coming over, and then vice versa, the NXT side, you had a lot of the women going over to NXT. But now it's kind of like there's only so many times you're gonna get that pop for that. Like, oh my god, it's a TNA wrestler, to the point where it's like, yeah, the rosters are just combined at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's
obvious.
For me, it's the same thing when I started bringing a bunch of like the Ring of Honor people, or maybe it wasn't Ring of Honor, maybe I'm thinking of something else. But like when they were bringing like Jordan Grace and all those people over.
Oh
like,
yeah, when they originally brought the TNA guys over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. It was like, okay, you knew she was gonna get signed, so it made sense. Is Santana gonna be an NXT wrestler? I doubt it.
Right.
So am I really gonna go and watch NXT to watch? Again, the result doesn't really matter unless this is a long-term story. Like again, Hammerstone fighting Obafemi. Great, cool match. Alexander Hammerstone has never been featured on that product again.
Right. Or like Moose.
Yeah.
Obafemi. I forgot that was a cool match, but like,
right.
I just don't care. And I feel like
did you really think that Moose was gonna win?
Exactly. I mean, like, I feel like that's, and we can touch on this later, but I feel like that's my big problem with NXT is like the wrestling's fine. They don't build anything. I just don't care about it.
Yes. It's like they're in the, actually I think of the Ring of Honor thing you were referencing before was like when AEW had originally started bringing in all the other dudes from Ring of Honor. They had a partnership with TNA as well when it was Impact, AAA, when they brought these guys over, or New Japan, and they were just like, Tomochi Tanahashi.
Right.
And it was like,
here's Okada, here's
exactly, here's Ospreay, like, and like they're defending like the New Japan belts on the AEW product, and yes, it's cool and it's fine, but it's like, dog, like you're asking me to be invested in, you're asking me not to just be invested in another person, but in a whole nother product.
Right.
And it's like, I just don't know how many people, like, honestly, I really don't even know what TNA is.
I just don't have the time to go watch TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan, AAA, all of this thing. Like, I just don't have time to do that.
Exactly. And like, that's where like, it's weird because I feel like the way that they're having the Worlds Collide event, and we'll get to that in a second as well, but the way that they're having this World Collide event is like, okay, it all makes sense. You're having like, it's kind of NXT versus AAA. You're going to feature some AAA guys just to kind of get people like to touch on that subject. And then I'm sure they're going to kind of build to something afterwards. With the TNA thing, I'm like, I just don't understand why. Like, again, you have so many guys on that roster that like actually could get you a pop for the one-time appearance. Nick Nemeth, the Hardys, Santino, like a lot of these guys who were WWE guys who are gonna stay in WWE, but you could get that one-time match off them. I just don't really know how Santana's moving the needle right now to go face an underneath NXT guy to probably win and then go face for a belt. Like, I'll be so real, I'd rather watch the Evolve guys.
Right.
I would rather you bring up an Evolve guy that I don't know, build him like Shawn Legacy, where I'm like, oh, this is fascinating. Like, I'm interested now in this new character.
Right.
Like, if you're just showing me a dude, and again, this is all also kind of like a little like Triple H trying to jab Tony Khan, like, look, I got this guy. Look, I got this guy. Look. And it's like, I don't know, like, I feel like it's getting like, I didn't like when Tony did it, you know, a couple years ago. When he brought in like all these random WWE guys, and then they would get a title match on a pay-per-view and then never be seen again.
For me, I mean, the only way it makes sense for me, I think you mentioned this, is if they're going to use Santana to sort of transition away from Joe Hendry, have Trick Williams win it, have Santana, like you said, go beat some guy at NXT. Maybe Trick Williams shows up after the match or something, and then Santana takes the belt off him in TNA. That's the only way it makes sense for me.
I agree. No, I agree with you. And then I'm like, but also, is this their way of like, again, okay, so Santana has the belt. So where does he go next with this? Because that means you literally have had 6 months of not two TNA guys fighting for the belt. And again, you know, you don't have Cardona on TNA right now. You don't have a lot of those, like, you don't have a lot of like stepping stone people that can be like, oh, well, obviously Nick Nemeth is going to face for the belt after. Like, okay, so Santana wins. I have no idea who goes against him out.
Right.
I have no idea. Again, unless it's just a random NXT guy.
Mhm.
Yeah, you could have Moose maybe if he like moves from the X division, but again, he's already been champion before.
Right.
So it's like, you know, I feel like they're having an issue right now in TNA with like they brought in all these guys who were either, you know, out of AEW, out of WWE. They got this partnership, but now it's like, all right, brother, I've watched Santana now for almost 8 years
Right.
consistently.
Mhm.
We are at that point where it's like AEW was around in 2017, 2018, 2019. So it's like, yeah, I've seen Santana for a long time. I saw him on Impact when he was there. I remember him on LAX. He has not gone away to come back. And now it's like, at no point was I like, oh God, I need a Santana world title match. You know what I
I
mean?
don't know if anyone's ever said
I know to even disrespect him, but it's like, yeah, nobody was like, that's not a needle mover for this
Yeah.
brand right now. Nick Nemeth was a big move. The Hardys were a big move. Santana just feels
even the Hardy. I mean, like, yes, they're still the Hardys, but like, they're not bringing in
right.
They're not bringing in people who are gonna be here in 10 years.
Right. That's where like I think that TNA majorly failed because for a brief period they had Ospreay.
Mhm.
That's the guy that you should have strapped that fucking belt
Right.
to and have saved TNA or whatever the case may be, and now he could go on and like defend that belt.
Mhm.
But speaking of people returning though, the Wyatt Six are now back.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. They're obviously, it's fun to watch them. I just hope that they like actually do something this time around and don't just kind of show up randomly and beat some jobber up.
Well, that's my thing. They had all these feuds. I think they messed around with the Final Testament. They interrupted. I forgot there was another faction. I think
They had the huge thing with
Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a whole thing with Judgment Day, and now it's like gone.
Mm.
And I get it was because Bo Dallas got hurt.
Mhm.
You got a 5-person group,
Right.
where he again.
And I mean, he can still show up. He doesn't have to wrestle.
That's what I didn't understand. I was like, I don't think that he should be wrestling in general, and like I just don't understand how like that could like. I just don't understand how that could like work right now with like the Wyatt Six being on one side. Judgment Day doesn't have a captain. They had 3 women's wrestlers as a part of the group. It just doesn't work right now. Yeah, I just don't understand how like that's gonna be able to like make sense in like the grand scheme of like everything that they're trying to do.
Right. I mean, especially, they teased, I think a couple times, they teased the Alexa Bliss stuff, but nothing ever came of it.
Yeah.
Like, they did the little, like, overlay nonsense in some of her
I
prime
forgot about that.
matches. And
I forgot that she was building towards being in that group. But even then, it's like, so where does Nikki Cross go?
Right.
Like, that's the other part of it, too, that, like, Doug, you have to reestablish the connection that all these people have with Bray Wyatt.
Mhm.
Obviously, Bo Dallas, that's his brother. I don't think the average fan knows why Nikki Cross is involved with this group. Eric Rowan and 2 people understand.
Right.
Why is Dexter Loomis a part of this group, though? Like, people don't understand that. Honestly, you probably are gonna have to reestablish this whole Uncle Howdy thing because, like Bray started it before.
Right, but you haven't had any Funhouse.
Exactly.
And obviously.
Exactly. That's the problem, is like I don't know. I feel like what made Bray Wyatt was that he
was the only one doing that.
Yes, and on top of that too, it was about the vignettes. It was about the promos. It was about I don't know. It was about more like it was
very little about what actually happened in the match.
Yeah, and now it's like they're doing this like weird, like I forgot that Dark Side, is that what they're called on NXT? Whatever, the 4-guy group that like basically took the Shield gimmick is beating up dudes every week. That's what the Wyatt Six has resorted to now. It's just like they're just jumping people, and I'm like, okay, if this goes towards somewhere, yes. But again, what is the purpose of the Wyatt Six?
Right.
Like, I think it'd be really massively interesting if Bo Dallas were to go after the WWE Championship, and he's like, I'll save WWE from
or even like just a mid-card belt, because I feel like having them all stay in the tag team all the time is not going to do anything.
And I'm not into the 6.
It's just going to be a mess of. It's going to be like NWO. It's just like there's too much happening here.
Yes. Yeah, and like also like if every week is gonna be a 6-man tag match, I don't want to see that.
Right.
That's not why I'm watching this group. I want to watch this because again, you have this group. It is an odd group because they are babyface because they have to be.
Right.
but they also are playing this heel gimmick of jumping people and stuff like that. So without any goal in mind, it just seems like it's just kind of like moving around like real slowly. But yeah.
Speaking of moving around slowly, Drew McIntyre had a great match with Priest on Saturday, and he had to be helped out of the arena. So I mean, it definitely.
Yeah,
I think I read somewhere that they actually confirmed it, or someone did, that he's taken some time off.
Yeah, they can share him into some vacation time.
Yeah.
No, apparently he was working hurt.
Yeah.
He was working hurt this whole time.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say I'm shocked. He's done a lot this past year.
It really brings up a interesting point with WWE, that is, a lot of these guys are getting hurt.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys are getting hurt on like the same, like the announce table
like
spots.
Decently serious injuries.
Yeah. Stuff that like, well, and also it's kind of a reflection also of like, look at that roster's age. Like a few years ago, like, again, post Vince era, you are now using the guys who weren't able to be used when they were younger. Drew, Jey Uso, John Cena to a higher capacity than he was before, like, you know, in the 2016, I'm saying, area. He wasn't just like jobbing to Austin Theory anymore.
Or even guys like Rollins, who have just been doing it at that level for a decade at this point.
And it's like and even then, you look at the new group that Seth Rollins formed. Now he's got Bronson Reed, older, Braun Breaker, he's young. I really don't think the two young guys on the main roster that are like young, you know, not like talking about like Fraxium or, you know,
the NXT guys that are.
Yeah, exactly. Other than those guys, though, like you got Dom and Braun. That's it. Like you have no other young guys in that entire division, and it's like, again, dog, you're still featuring Rey Mysterio every week.
Right.
You're still featuring, like, you know, you're still featuring guys like McIntyre, who are older. Priest is older. Yeah.
I mean, even guys like Carlito or Finn Balor aren't necessarily wrestling every week, but they get a lot of TV time.
Yep. They're gonna be in a really hard spot in a few years when it comes to like, they're going to have to move that whole NXT roster up quickly. So it will be interesting to see if they rise to the occasion. Like somebody like a Trick Williams, I think will do well. But again, even look at like a young guy like Carmelo Hayes, who's on the roster, who's his manager, Miz.
Right.
What?
I mean, and Miz I don't have a problem with, because he doesn't really wrestle anymore.
No. He's just trying to get Melo over. But it's the same point that like every person that you're featuring is still older, they can't move the same way they did before, but they are trying to, so then they're getting hurt. And that's why you have a lot of injuries on that roster right now. And I think that's what's going to be the next wave of releases, because it kind of started because you saw that they released Braun Strowman, older.
Well, I think Braun's was just a contract thing. I think he was getting paid way too much.
Oh, yeah.
How little he was.
Anyway, but the other thing is he's hurt all the time.
Oh, yeah.
The dude can't walk.
Yeah.
The guy can't walk normally anymore, and they were just using him to put people over. And I think that was smart, but at a certain point, too, you're going to have to do that with a lot of this roster. Like, okay, so who does Jey Uso drop this belt to?
Right.
Seth Rollins?
Right.
Who's older than him? Who does Seth drop it to? Like LA Knight, who wins the Money in the Bank briefcase, older than him?
Right. And what's interesting for me about this is that Logan's young.
Yes.
And younger.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's 30, but he's still young.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's interesting what they're going to try and do with him, because they're definitely trying to feature him more, especially with H saying, like, he's not a, celebrity wrestler, and he doesn't really fit in that category.
Well, I do find it interesting that he's teaming up with Cena now. I think he's had Money in the Bank, right? Yeah, that'll be interesting. I don't know how I feel about it, because with the limited dates that Cena has,
right? I don't know if I like them wasting dates on that, but
like, again, and this
is just better than the Travis Scott tag match they were rumoring.
Oh my god! Well, that's like my whole issue with this whole Cena thing, and maybe it's because both world champions of both major companies are holding their companies hostage with the world title, and at this point, I'm just like, oh my god, like, I'm done. Like, I just want to watch wrestling. Like, I get it. He wants to ruin wrestling. I get it. But, like, it's hard to, like, apply that when you're, like, I don't know. I think it's a really hard gimmick to keep, like, well, if Logan Paul won, that would ruin wrestling. And it's like, in your opinion, I guess, but like to some people that wouldn't ruin wrestling. Some people actually think he's a good worker in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, if you were saying like, oh, if Travis Scott won, yeah, that'd be basically like David Arquette winning the freaking title. But I just think it's really, really, really hard right now for Cena to get this gimmick over because it's like, you are the world champion of the company.
Well, I mean, not even looking at the fact that he's the top champion, but I mean, I can't really speak for everyone, but for me, whenever I see Cena do this dumb stuff on TV or the pay-per-view, I'm like, is this really the best option they could have come up with for what to do with Cena's retirement tour?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I get he's this big bad heel, and I'm sure by the end he's gonna turn back babyface and everyone's gonna go home happy. But I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I feel like when we look back on this in 10 years and we're like, wow, like we had one last Cena title reign and he legitimately did not have
to do anything.
It did nothing.
Like no offense to R-Truth, but like why is that
Why
is that a title match on a pay-per-view?
It wasn't even a title match, that's the worst part.
Oh, was it?
No, it wasn't.
I thought it was.
It wasn't even for the titles. And that's what confused me. I'm like, so why won't you do this on an episode of SmackDown?
Right.
Why won't you do this on an episode of Raw?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're going to save it for this, like, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it, live event. And it's like, so R-Truth comes out in a gimmicky outfit, even though he just got a great promo on SmackDown about how he wanted to bring the John Cena back, blah, 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 blah. So he comes out totally not serious. Cena still overbeats him down. Cena then messes up the Jey Uso match. And it's like, I know that his gimmick is trying to like ruin wrestling, but it is legitimately going to ruin the WWE.
It's legitimately ruining wrestling.
Like, if you are a kid who watched Saturday Night Main Event, you are like, yo, this sucks.
It's not good.
You had one world title match, ended in disqualification. Mm-hmm. The other, if you want to call it the world title match, because nobody thought Truth was going to win, but it wasn't. But
I mean, no one really thought Logan was going to win either, especially since they brought Gunther back to basically ask for his rematch. Well, in the week before the freaking match with Logan, like, it doesn't make any sense.
Also, am I bugging, or did Gunther say that he was facing Jey Uso at Money in the Bank?
Yes.
That's why.
Well, I think he said he was going to face the winner, but then he only talked to Jey Uso.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make...
Well, he confronted Logan on Raw,
right?
Just to, like, make it real, like, oh, who knows? But, like, at the same time, I'm like, what are we talking about here? Like, I thought Gunther just said he's facing the winner, and now I have to wait. So, Money in the Bank, no world title matches.
Well, no, they'll have the one, no? They'll have Gunther and...
No, it's Jay and, Jay and Cody.
Right, yeah.
So you have no world titles going to be...
But that's so weird, because I could have sworn they said they were doing it...
I swore that Gunther said he was doing it at Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
I swore that he said that. And I'm so confused now, because I'm like, what are we doing now?
Right.
So now Money in the Bank, you're going to have...
Which, I mean, I'm not, like, horribly against no title matches at the actual...
No, me neither.
Because that's not what it's about.
I agree.
But I feel like it's just... I feel like the programming is just sloppy at this point. In, like, unnecessary way.
I feel like, honestly, and this sucks to say, but, like, it was when The Rock got involved at Elimination Chamber, this whole thing went haywire. Because it was like, Cena turned... But then they didn't reference Rock or Travis Scott at all for the entire Cody Rhodes feud. You get to Mania. Travis Scott interrupts the match. Why? Cena doesn't win with his finisher. He wins with a belt shot. What? Then he goes, okay, so the Randy Orton thing made sense, but it was way too soon. Nobody thought that Randy Orton was going to win. And it was just so that they could sell tickets at that Payback event. And... Now, okay, so the last time I don't even remember when that event was, but whenever that,
when this episode started this month, wasn't it? It was the first. It was supposed to say,
it was like the first weekend of May. So you're not gonna have another title defense till SummerSlam,
right? Or because June's Money in the Bank, and then July
is that SummerSlam?
No, SummerSlam's August, but they announced some other Saturday Night Main Event, and I guess they mentioned they're doing Evolution in July too. Evolution 2.
Yeah, which they took away from Mohegan Sun, speaking of which.
Right.
Which is crazy. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this whole John Cena thing, but I think that it's really, really, really interesting that they're not.
I saw a theory online that I don't think this is actually what they're doing, but I saw a theory online of that said that the real John Cena is still trapped in the Firefly Funhouse.
I saw that too. You see, but again, I think that's why they should have Bo Dallas go after that belt. Like I think there's other stories that, and I think this is the other problem too. It's kind of the problem that happens with AEW sometimes. Cena, I think this is all his storyline. I think that he told Hunter, I will come back for my retirement run if I get to do my own story. I'm sorry. As much as I know that people love R-Truth, dude, there's no reason you need to have that match over
anything.
Literally another match.
Show you anything else.
There are so many other matches that could have happened that I think that people would have been more invested in than that on a Saturday night.
Or honestly, just save the date and don't wrestle.
Yes.
It's like it's not necessary.
I don't think you need to wrestle on Saturday night. Oh man, I don't think you need it to at all. I think, and again, he's not now. And this is what's also becoming like the issue. I'm like, okay, so I think it's like 24 dates he has left.
Something like that, yeah.
So he's not going to wrestle on Raw or SmackDown at all.
Right.
And again, at the end of the day, again, I really, at this point, I guess I don't know.
Well, his last match is on one of them. I don't remember if it was on Raw or SmackDown, but his last match in Boston is on one of the two.
Oh, is that what they're doing? That's December though? Okay, well that's good at least. But like, even leading up until then, dude, he's still the WWE champion. And I'm sorry, like these promos he's doing, as much as they were like, wow, John Cena's the bad guy now. They're getting. I don't need John Cena in a ring anymore, trying to like monologue about his evil plan.
Right. Like he hates little kids. Cool, great. We get it. You said it in 95.
Yeah, no, that's like, I feel like that's been every promo is like, I hate the fans. You guys treat me like crap. And it's like, okay, great. Can you do, like, can we get our number to go in here?
The father.
And I don't know why, too. It's like, I don't know if he's having too much fun, but it really seems to me that he's going with every single heel trope.
Yeah.
Like how, like, and it's been like, now I've seen it for the last, like, 2 months. Cena cuts a promo. Cena interrupts, yells at the crowd. Cena gets hit with the babyface's finisher. Cena's laid out in the middle of the ring.
For me too, it feels awkward almost. I don't know if it's just because he's literally never been a heel before, but it feels clunky him doing all the heel stuff. Like it feels really clunky.
Well, it's like I also feel like it's so like it's like they're trying to do this from like it's like a heel from like the 80s. Like it's like they don't know that like a lot of the people like are smart to a lot of what's happening. Like I don't know why. Like it's Saturday night. I realized that on Saturday Night Main Event when Cody grabbed him in the crossroads, and Cody's literally has him and rotates him 90 degrees so that he can look at the hard cam, and then hits his move. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. If Cena was a babyface, I guess he would have never let that. He would have rolled out of it. Like I'm like, why is he acting like such a oh my god, get off me, oh my god, get off me? Like I hate that. I'm like, it's so not realistic, especially when he's trying to play this tough guy kind of gimmick. I don't know if maybe, and it may be like too like NWO Hogan, but I feel like he needs his own NWO at this point.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he needs goons around him. Like again, I guess my problem is when you're the WWE champion, you want to get other people over so you can kind of like build this. Nobody's been over.
Right.
Orton, come on, that they just wanted to wrestle each other. R-Truth isn't getting anyone over. That dude's retiring soon. Cody's back. So like nobody's got over in this entire John Cena heel run.
And what I'm confused about is I mean, obviously it seems like they're building towards Cody again at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Is he gonna lose again? Or is Cena dropping the belt in August, and then who knows what he's doing for 3 months?
Well, that's what I'm saying. And then I'm like, I just don't feel like that would be interesting at all. Again, and this is my issue too. I'm really worried that if Cody loses again at SummerSlam, it's going to be because of Dwayne.
Right. And I mean, even let's say he loses at SummerSlam, who's he going to drop the belt to? I mean, there's no big face other than Cody.
Yeah, I feel like that's been the
or
issue.
Jay, but he has his own belt.
Well, that's exactly the issue. Is like you gotta build somebody right now to do this. Like whether it's a Bo Dallas who like has some sort of connection with Cena, or there's not a lot of people, to be honest with you. There's also not a lot of baby faces on that product right now. Well, you have Judgment Day running around. Dom is that champion. Jacob Fatu and his own bloodline. He's the United States champion. They're all heels, though. Again, it's Dom is like everyone's cheering Dom. Jacob Fatu, everyone cheers Jacob Fatu, but they're heels. They still go against baby faces every week when they wrestle. I can't actually think of another baby face that like is in the.
There was no one prominent.
Sami Zayn.
Yeah, but he's not a title, really.
No, not unless you build that.
Right.
Like that's also kind of what's messed up too, is you got to get somebody right now to need to beat Cena that is not, again, if it's not Cody Rhodes, dog, you don't have a Royal Rumble to do that.
Right.
Usually you
Unless
get
you're gonna try and use CM Punk to do that, maybe, but he's got his own thing.
Oh God, yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, I guess you could have.
Well, I mean, obviously that match is gonna happen at some point before December, but
that's what's also unrealistic to me. I'm sorry, it's like you have a guy who openly has hated John Cena in storyline day after day, week after week for your entire period, even after WrestleMania, cut a promo on him or after Elimination Chamber, cut a promo on him and The Rock, and he has not been involved in this at all. Like, I get they want to do the Orton thing, but like Orton did not need to be involved in that.
Right, or Orton could have been later when they actually build towards.
Yes, I think that Orton should have been SummerSlam. I'm shocked that they didn't do it at SummerSlam. CM Punk could have been the easiest, like, nope, I want to stop Super Cena. I'm going to do this. I'm going to come out with the title, lose, and it's fine because it didn't have to make that big of a difference. I also don't know how good that match is going to be, too, though.
Yeah, because Punk's a little clunky, too.
Yeah, he's been not as himself in the ring anymore, which makes sense. He's older, but it's like, you see, again, you're looking at, like, the whole roster line, and it's like, and this is my other thing too, and this is where I really hope WWE is to take this route, because again, Cena's a star, don't get me wrong, not like he's a huge star. The retirement tour makes sense. This is all about his retirement tour, though.
Yeah.
Are you going to do this next year with Randy Orton, or in the year after with CM Punk? And what happens when Drew wants to retire? And what happens when, maybe if they bring Brock Lesnar back, what happens when he wants to retire? Are we really going to do a retirement tour with the entire 20 times roster? Where was R-Truth retired?
Well, I mean, the same thing. I mean, none of those people are John Cena.
Well, that's the problem, but it's like you have all these stars, though, that, like, again, not even a retirement tour. What do you ever, like, at a certain point when you get on your 6th retirement match that you've had a fate event, your pay-per-views, you look like a fucking retirement home. Like, that's the problem. You're going to have all these dudes who are, like, in their, like, late 40s, early 50s that are going to need to retire, and, like, okay, so you can't not have Punk's retirement match at a SummerSlam or WrestleMania. You can't not have Randy Orton's retirement match be at a SummerSlam or WrestleMania. Drew is getting to that.
I mean, Drew, you can, because, I mean, his booking's gone into the ground.
Yeah, it's gone sour. I'm shocked he hasn't won a title, and I think it's terribly.
I'm sure he hasn't won anything. It's not like he's even winning these stupid little feud matches, really. I mean, some of them, but.
Well, this whole injury, I feel like, was terrible, because I feel like he was about to be Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
He would have been the perfect Money in the Bank champion to have running around. Now I feel like they're going to give it to LA Knight, which is good.
It's just boring. I mean, like, LA Knight's cool, and he's just funny in his promos, but, like, I don't look at LA Knight and see that's a world champion. Or that's a guy who should have a guaranteed world champion.
Well, it's funny because I'm like, I'd be fine if he cashed in on Jay. I don't know how I feel about him winning Cena's title. Like, I don't think he could be face of the company type.
No.
And I don't feel like, again, you don't have any faces that are like, I want to save the company. I will give AEW its credit, at least. There's a million dudes on that roster who, for lack of better, want to, like, be in that.
Be the guy.
Yeah, they want to be in that space. They want, like, you have an Osprey who wants it, and then a Hangman who wants it, and you got, I don't know, you got other guys on that roster who, like, Will Hobbs, who, like, okay, like, these guys could be world champion. I look at the WWE roster, I'm like, so what, is Cena dropping this to Punk? Is Cena dropping this, again, even if Cena does drop it to Cody, what happens after that? You still have not given me the Roman Reigns rematch. You still have not given me The Rock versus Cody, which The Rock pinned Cody Rhodes. He is his last pin loss other than John Cena. I can't understand that.
Speaking of retirement matches, Goldberg is some news emerging about Goldberg is that his retirement match is now in talks for the next Saturday Night Main Event, which is in July.
Is that confirmed?
It's not confirmed, but I think the quote that I read is seriously looking into it, which who fucking knows. But yeah, for July's Saturday Night Main Event, which is the same weekend as the Evolution event.
Interesting.
I have no idea who he's.
I was just about to say, I was like, because he's got
the only thing I can like think of, which I guess would make sense because it's like it's a retirement match. Is are they gonna bring him back as like a sort of cheery, jovial, babyface kind of guy saying goodbye to everyone, and then give him someone like Braun, who's
I think the first question you have to ask is he losing? Because God, he should.
I think he should, obviously, but
or does it? Or because that's the thing too. Like, not to be that guy, but like a retirement match for Goldberg would be like a 30-minute like squash match, like that. Honestly, that Dolph Ziggler match that he had, that was perfect. Spear, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3, crowd pops, yay, go home. Like that's all we need. Like, is he really gonna work like a program with like? Again, I don't even know. Braun would make the most sense if he's gonna put somebody over.
Mm-hmm. I can't even obviously there's no shortage of jobbers, but I can't think of someone who's gonna give him a pop and then not bury them in return.
Right. I mean, yeah, you could have the Miz like go out there and like think all the spears and stuff, but like
that's like I can't think of anything less interesting.
Well, also say I think they're overestimating honestly the market that Goldberg has.
Yeah.
You did a retirement tour for him already.
Mm-hmm.
You let him beat Brock. That was great because it was shocking.
Mm-hmm.
You let him have another world title match. He shit the bed against Bray Wyatt, and now you got to be done with this.
Right.
You let him have that, he like shit the bed against Bray Wyatt. He had the match with Dolph Ziggler that like everyone was like, okay, that was fine. I don't see the market right now for allowing him to have another match, another feud where he wins.
Right.
And if he loses,
for me, if he loses, it's sort of like, what was the point in doing this in the first place?
I guess because it's got to be a heel. If you do that, like it's got to be Braun. Like really, that's the only guy that like you can put over and be like, I beat Goldberg in his retirement match. Like that would be cool. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know if I want Braun caught up in that for the next month,
right?
Of them talking back and forth. Goldberg making a bunch of like old guy, young guy jokes, and then like Braun beating him quickly. Like that's the other part of it too. So are they going to work an actual match,
right? Or
are they just going to let Braun squash him, or vice versa? Like I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anybody on that run. Like actually, truthfully, the only person that would be interesting is if you let Jacob Fatu squash him.
Yeah, that could be nice
because that's like they have a similar like he's like a wild man. Like, oh my God, what are you gonna do when this dude comes after you? Type vibe. Other than that, I don't see anybody who Braun or Jacob Fatu, with the exception of those two, I don't see anybody actually being an interesting opponent for Goldberg that's gonna win. And I don't want to see fucking Goldberg win. I really don't.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on to the WrestleMania 42 location. What is your opinion now that it seems like Las Vegas is going to be the permanent home?
Yeah, I don't know if I like that. I mean, it's cool.
It's the UFC influence.
Yeah, I mean,
super obvious.
It's very TKO and not WWE.
Yep.
Well, essentially, I mean, like, I would have been, I guess, less upset if they took it away. If it was in like, I don't even know what city, but like New Orleans is like a top wrestling.
Yeah. It's not like that was a bad like location.
We were talking the other day. They've had 2 of the past 10 WrestleManias.
Yep, they're about as 3 in 10 years. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand why. Like, I get Vegas, I get it's like a spectacle and the whole deal, but like, do you really think? I guess because Vegas is a safe market for people who have money to go to that event. Because I don't know if you've seen too, dude. WWE ticket prices.
The ticket prices are crazy.
It's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but no wrestling show should be that amount of money. Like for rafter seats being like $200 for SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's insanity. I mean, you're talking about like if you buy that 2-day pass,
you're paying $200 to watch the same thing on your TV on Peacock.
Well, it's the thing. Again, don't get me wrong. If you're like front seat,
Yeah, obviously, but you're like
Whatever.
you're sitting outside the stadium.
Literally, like you're on like the top rafters. It's a small ring. This isn't a football game, right?
Right.
You can't like kind of see what's going on, and like, nah, dude, like, yeah, MetLife isn't cheap either, and like, I don't know, like you're talking about dropping like borderline, like, I mean, what was it? One ticket was $170 for, yeah, so it's probably like $300 if you want to do the 2-day pass for SummerSlam. I mean, I think that's to be in rafters, to be in the rafters.
To watch it on a jumbotron.
Like, you can't hear the freaking ring bell go off.
Yeah.
Like, I can't understand that. I cannot understand that. And also, here's my other part of it that I'm a little bit like, the cards are not that good.
Right.
Like, we were just talking about it. So, again, I don't know how much the Money in the Bank tickets are right now, but let's say, like, let's be generous and say the rafter seats for that are like,
I'm gonna look it up.
yeah, I was about to say, I was like, look it up for me because because here's my thing. This is what I was talking about before with like Cena saying he's going to ruin wrestling. I get that, but then you got to make it ruin wrestling prices, brother. Like, you can't be like telling me, oh, I'm going to ruin wrestling. I'm like, okay, great. I don't want to pay for a ticket then.
Right.
Like, you're still asking people to pay tickets. And like, to be honest with you, Cena's not getting like that viscerally booed right now to the point where like, oh my God, yo, if I had paid for a ticket for Saturday Night Live main event and my highlight of the night was Bronson Reed booty squishing CM Punk, I would be so angry. How much are the tickets?
Let's see. One ticket. The lowest ticket is $302.
Get the fuck out of here.
And that's a resale ticket.
Oh my God, that is
The cheapest one. The cheapest one right now in Ticketmaster for like a new ticket is $314.
Dude. Wow.
And that's literally the back row of the top.
Wow.
Oh.
Dude. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Okay,
crazy.
so think about this. You're paying $300 for a ticket and you're not getting a world title match on the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You get two ladder matches, whatever. Okay. You get 2 ladder matches and a tag team match with Logan Paul. And probably, I'm sure, a women's title match, maybe a women's mid-card title
Liv's
match.
coming back, so that could be Liv.
Yeah, that's just he's back from filming whatever she was filming before. I mean, I really don't understand. I really, really do not understand how they could justify a $300 ticket price for no world title match.
Well, it's because people are still gonna buy it. Like I just looked at the Ticketmaster map. It's still, I mean, we're still a couple weeks out, and it's over 2/3 sold out right now. So I mean, it's
you know what? I guess if it's working for them, it's working for them. I think that they're just at a certain point, like, gonna outprice the people who are their actual biggest fans. Like, that's why, like, during a lot of these events, you don't see people like popping like that crazy because they're paying $1,000 to be in those seats that you can actually see on camera. And it's like, I don't know. I just think that they're outpricing the people who are actually going to watch this, and who are actually invested in their product.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. But to go to like the next bit of news, I think that like the biggest announcement they made is this World Collides event that we were talking about before. They only have 2 matches announced for it. It's Vikingo and Chad Gable, which I think is interesting because they don't want him to get freaking stabbed over cosplay. But yeah, being El Grande, they don't want to get stabbed over.
Which is funny because it's not in Mexico. But
which is funny because I didn't really know that. I didn't know that it wasn't in Mexico until I looked it up last night. I saw the actual event poster, which again, Javon Evans is on the card. Bizarre. But I will say the 2 matches they have announced, the Vikingo and Shaggy Gable, I'm interested in. I'm also interested in the 6-man match where it's going to be Legado versus El Hijo del Wagner.
That'll at least be like an interesting match.
Yeah. Well, it's clearly a feature match for Pagano, Psycho Clown, and Wagner to see, I guess, if they're ready for main roster, because that's going to be the interesting part of it too. You got guys who are veterans, ready, they know what they're doing. Are you really going to keep them on AAA right now? Or are you going to get these guys like to the main roster? Again, Pagano is not young. That dude is an old deathmatch wrestler, dog. Like, he needs, if you're going to work a match, if you're going to put him in something, you need to put him in something now. Psycho Clown, not a young man. Like, he needs to be doing something.
Right.
Wagner's younger, but like still like a veteran, you know, in years in the business. So like, I don't think you put them in NXT, and even then, like, that's a lot of people you're gonna have to be adding to that roster.
Right. And there's already too many people on the NXT roster.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, like, it will be interesting to see, you know, like the North American Championship defended and the whole deal, but like, I don't know what other matches we could be seeing during this entire event.
Yeah, I have not. I mean, there's plenty of main roster guys who were on AAA that would make sense for them to have a match, like Andrade or someone like
Yeah, like Ray,
yeah, Ray, exactly.
Phoenix,
Yeah, Phoenix and Mysterio would make
Pentagon.
Well, I think Mysterio's still hurt, but
Well, I saw him on the event poster. I was like, isn't that Mobley hurt? Isn't he feeling some type of way right now?
Yeah.
Which again is fine, no doubt. Like again, even if he's not on the card, that's fine. It's just
he should be there.
yeah, I do find it interesting because I'm like, all right, they're doing the Worlds Collide event, great. That's their money grab on this project, but like, where does it go from here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you really think that people are gonna watch AAA wrestling?
Not at all.
Like, I don't think so. No. Unless you
know more people than already do.
No, exactly. Than like the people in Mexico who are watching it. And at the same time, too, I'm like, dude, and again, I will find it interesting because the one thing they have not done throughout any of this promotion, they have not actually shown AAA wrestling like highlights on anything because it's not that good. Because listen, Lucha Libre is a hard thing to get over in America. I know people think that like
people watch Rey Mysterio and they're like, "Oh, that's cool."
They think that's lucha, and I'm like, no. When you see two guys going, waiting for a dude to jump off and like dive on it, and you have the hexagon ring, and they're all jumping out onto each other, and the mat is stiff, and it doesn't make that loud of a sound, and they're all doing head scissors to each other, and they mess up a spot on the ropes, and they just try to spot again.
Yeah.
It's hard
for an American crowd, and I think AEW's run into this problem where it's like they're doing too much for the American audience.
Yes, I agree. Well, that's the thing too. Like, you got to make more of like, honestly, I feel like the more palpable thing for the wrestling audience is it has to be like an American lucha style. Like, I think what Ospreay does is very, very good. He has these spots that he still sticks to, but he's not doing
a triple moonsault backflip every 5 seconds.
Right.
It's not necessary.
He'll do the same like type of dive every single time. It's just at an elevated level, like Tiger Mask would do or Dynamite Kid. But when you see like I'm sorry, a head scissors is a really hard thing for people to understand in an American audience. Like, especially when, again, it's different when it's Rey Mysterio because he's doing it and he's the only guy doing it. And Phoenix, too, kind of has the same thing with Will Ospreay. He has this thing, the rope kick that he does, or he'll do like a few cool, like flippy things. But again, who's Phoenix facing? He's facing Chad Gable, who's grounding him. Who's Pentagon facing? Dom, who doesn't wrestle lucha style. He just does some lucha moves. When you have two guys who are holding hands with each other going boing, 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 head scissors, gets up. The other guy hits a head scissors. Yeah. Now, both of them are running at each other. They're doing dives at each other. It's going to be... and no one's selling anything because that's lucha. And, now you have a trio 6-man match where they're all trying to dive outside the ring and stuff. It's going to be really, really hard for some of these guys to adapt. The same way that it was hard for Shinsuke to adapt when he came here. Like, they had to literally not retrain, but like more or less like rework his whole thing.
They Americanized.
Yeah, they had to Americanize a lot of what he was doing. Which that's what surprised me. I thought if WWE was going to make an acquisition, it would have been on the Japanese front more, because I feel like that they've had more success with that.
Yeah. But I mean, where are they gonna? It's not like they're gonna go buy New Japan.
No, but I thought they'd buy Pro Wrestling Noah.
Yeah,
because they had done that partnership where AJ had gone over there, Shinsuke had gone over there. I mean, not that company isn't running big numbers, but it just looks like they have a lot of talent that could like be Americanized enough where like I feel like the American audience now has seen enough like Io Shirai, Shinsuke Nakamura. AEW has helped that a little bit where like everyone's like, okay, like Japanese wrestling exists and it's like hard hitting. Like, I feel like the average people kind of know that now, like, whether it's Instagram Reels or whatever the case may be, like people know that exists. Dude, people do not understand what lucha libre is, like what it actually implies when you have 6 dudes like doing dives on each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's hard. And again, for lack of a better word, every person who WWE signs who's doing that stuff, Rey Fenix, Pentagon, Rey Mysterio,
Even guys like Ricochet.
yeah, Ricochet, Dragon Lee, Legado, those are the best luchadors.
Yeah.
They got the top of the top. Now you're gonna be bringing guys in.
Not to mention, like, a lot of those guys don't really get TV time.
Right. Dragon Lee has not been on TV in a fat minute.
Right, and when Rey Mysterio is on TV, he's not really like he'll do a 619. He'll do a couple flips off the rope.
Right.
It's not like he's doing anything super insane.
Another guy, by the way, that when he needs to do his retirement match, they're gonna have to block out an event for him. But yeah, no, I really don't know how that's gonna like fare as much when it comes to the actual like event as a whole. Like again, that 6-man match, they're gonna be doing a lot of flippy dives and stuff like that, which is fine because Pagano and Psycho Clown and honestly Wagner don't really do that style as much. They can, but they're much more Americanized. But I will find it interesting when they have to bring in like people who, or maybe they won't. Maybe those.
I was just gonna say maybe they're not going to.
But that's what I'm interested too. Like, so you're gonna have, are you gonna have all these like AAA guys like sit on the sideline? Are they gonna go to NXT? Like, when this World Collide event is over, where do you go from here? Do they get a TV deal? Like, do you like is WWE gonna push for them to get, I don't know, a Peacock special or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I was thinking of, maybe not so much with TNA, but with AAA, I could very much see WWE just saying we're not going to do that anymore.
Yeah, I think that
and just like sort of dissolving AAA.
See, it's funny you say that because when they had bought them, what I thought was fascinating is every other time WWE makes an announcement along these lines, they usually say like for X amount of $1 million, $1 billion. They did not say. I think they bought it for pennies on the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
I think that company was going under as it is right now, and they thought it would be cheaper to buy the company and probably also get their library. Like I'm sure, like now you're gonna see WWE like Psycho Clown versus Dr. Wagner on YouTube. Like now they could use that library, which is also something interesting, by the way, because now that they moved the network or like their library from Peacock to Netflix, because they don't have all the WWE stuff on Peacock anymore, right?
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
That's a lot of it anyway.
Okay,
checks to see random events from.
Yeah, like because I was confused by that too because I thought that they still had it on Peacock, but now they're posting some of the stuff on Netflix. But I guess a lot of the stuff they have like stuff that's not on either right now.
Yeah, because from what I understood, I thought it was just Raw.
I thought so too, but now they have like specials and stuff and like old matches. Like I think all the WrestleManias are on Netflix now, which is interesting. But what I find even more interesting is like I think that they're realizing that the YouTube platform is really profitable for them. Like they uploaded like Ric Flair versus Steamboat and it got 500,000 views. That's a couple $1,000s right there. Like I think that they're realizing that the YouTube platform could get them some revenue.
And I mean WWE's what, like their top 25, top 50 subscribed channel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's not like they have to build anything; they already have it.
Well, right, that's the thing, and like I think that it's good for them too because it allows them to occupy that space without having to make like a YouTube show, like how AEW is doing Dark or whatever the case may be. I also don't feel like it has negatively affected like indie ratings at all.
No,
because I think that people want to see what they want to see. And I think that WWE is uploading their library onto YouTube just makes more sense if you want to get like more fans to their product. Especially if like, again, you upload like the Chi-Town Rumble with Rick and Steamboat. It just makes sense that like you can like have access to that easy. Because like, what are you gonna post that individually on like Netflix? Like, no person's gonna go dig in Netflix for that. But when that came up on my like feed, I was like, oh yeah, I'll watch that. I forgot about that. Yeah. Let's go over Double or Nothing.
Yeah, I was watching NXT. I didn't watch Double or Nothing, mostly because I already like AEW, but it's besides the point. So they started with the women's finals. It's a good match. I mean, I watched the highlights.
Man, hater. I actually want to see this match.
It looked fine. I think a roll-up win is stupid.
Mercedes won?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, obviously. But I feel like a roll-up is dumb. I feel like if you're going to obviously push Mercedes, at least, like, actually push her. But
yeah, I'm not a fan of her product right now. It's not money. It is not selling me, brother. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, I'm just like, I know that there are people who are super fans of her, who love her. And I'm like, I think she could work a great match. I think her and Jamie Hayter have very good in-ring chemistry. But for Mercedes, when she does not have the right person at the right time in the ring with her, they ain't go well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another match that I thought was weird was the FTR match.
Yeah.
I don't know why this was a match.
Because FTR had jumped Garcia, Nigel got involved.
Well, I mean, like, I know why it was in the story.
You know what I think?
What?
Isn't it convenient that a commentator got involved during a pay-per-view conveniently right after right after McAfee did? And I think this was Nigel being like, nah, I could better than this motherfucking punter. Which makes sense, but FTR...
I feel bad for Garcia, because, like, he's a great wrestler, and he's just getting pooped on at the booking.
Well, I can't understand, like, why... Like, you got to give him a little more than what he's doing. Like, yeah, he had the TNT title. Did not get featured a lot on that. And that's, like, one of their, in my opinion, one of their more important titles that they've had. Because the names that have had it, Cody, Brody Lee, Darby Allin, Miro... Like, usually there's some, like, story that's involved there. And now it's like, Garcia kind of, like, didn't do anything with the belt. Adam Cole's not doing much with the belt. Like, I don't know. Like, again, if you were going to have a guy, like, go face Moxley for the title, like, even if he didn't win, like, I thought it'd be Garcia. Like, his whole thing is that I love AEW. He didn't, WWE tried to get him on NXT, and he said no. Like, during that whole Ricky Starks period, Ricky Saints. So... yeah, I was confused. I'm confused why they're giving him these types of matches. And then he lost.
Right. It's not like Jesus. It's not like he just lost either. He got submitted. He got choked out.
Yeah. He got to show it out too.
Yeah.
But he did, not even McGinnis, which I think is even more strange. Yeah, I can't understand that. I can't understand that booking decision. But anyway, the next one was Ricochet and Briscoe.
Like,
fine.
Yeah, like, it's good wrestling, sure, but like it's the same problem I have with NXT.
It was just deathmatch.
Yeah, I mean it's the same problem I have with NXT is that they just don't. I'm not invested in whatever story they're trying to make here.
Yeah, no, I really couldn't understand what they were going for here. I was like, I mean, obviously Ricochet won, right?
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know if the goal is to get Ricochet to be a bigger player in this whole universe, or if he's gonna go on and now face like Omega for his belt. Like, that's the problem too. This company also has the problem. They have so many heels. And so Ricochet wins. Great. So now he has like, I think he has a couple wins now, back to back to back. He can't go face Moxley.
Right.
He can't go face Okada for his, mid-card belt. I don't know what he does next. Honestly, I think what's going to end up happening, I think him and Ospreay are going to run it back at that all-in event, just because now Ospreay has literally nothing.
Right. But, like, why? Like, what? Like,
I thought, and honestly, that was one of the more disappointing matches that has happened in the recent times, Ospreay versus Ricochet. It was fine, but it's never going to be that first match they had. And if it's not going to be that first match they had, I'm not invested at all. But...
I'm not invested anyway. Like I feel like the big problem with AEW is they do all these matches that just aren't for anything.
Right.
Like they're just happening. Like, and that's cool. That's fine wrestling to watch, and I enjoy watching it. But like, it's not like I'm watching, someone go fight Moxley for a championship, or someone go, or even the Cup Finals with Hangman and Ospreay.
Right.
Like that was for something.
Right. Well, even speaking of which, the next match that's on that we were about to talk about is like the Hurt Business match, the Hurt Syndicate, going against the Sons of Texas. Dog, who in their blue blazes hell thought that the Sons of Texas were gonna win? Sammy Guevara, I haven't even seen him on TV. Dustin Rhodes
is 95 years old,
90-something years old, possibly 102. And what are we doing? And now it's okay. So FTR just won, right? Are they gonna go face the Hurt Syndicate?
Right.
Heel on heel. Why? What are we doing? So they're gonna go face again. That'd be a great match if FTR was faces, which they just were. Now they're not. I don't understand. Again, they beat up on Adam Copeland. They beat up on these guys. So does that make them? So they hurt people. Yeah, FTR guys. The Hurt Syndicate. That's their whole thing, is that they hurt people. So they're just gonna go hurt each other? Like, I don't understand. So then one person has to get buried. Like, that's the whole point. Like, you can't even then have like MJF like low blow one of the FTR guys. It's like, nah, like that it's not gonna get anyone over. Yeah, that's my issue. Like, we just named 3 matches and we'll keep going. Like, again, the next one, Okada and Mike Bailey. Okada
with who I want to know if there was genuinely anyone who like bet on or genuinely thought that Mike Bailey was gonna beat.
You mean Hong Kong Phooey, bro? I can't listen. Dog.
Like, what are they doing? Like,
I can't understand that match. Yo, I can't. I don't understand the whole Mike Bailey gimmick. I'm saying that as somebody who's a double black belt. I have 2 black belts, one in Taekwondo, which is the one that Mike Bailey has, and I have one in Kempo. You've done karate yourself. I can't understand this guy's gimmick. I get he does like a lucha kicky style, but it's like, unless he's literally pistol whipping somebody with his kick, it just doesn't look that goddamn good.
Right, unless he's doing like an Aleister Black thing where he's like taking your head off. It's just not good.
It just doesn't work.
And it can't work against someone like Okada either, who's just gonna hit you back just as hard.
Right.
It's not.
And again, Mike Bailey, where does he go from this?
Right.
Where's he? Again, we have not named a single person in any of these matches that are even capable of going to face Jon Moxley right now. Next one was Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa.
It was good.
Yep. Tony Storm is the best.
Yeah.
One of the best things in that company.
For me, though, it's the problem of
who did both.
Yeah, like it's the same thing with Moxley. Like, what are they gonna do? Like,
I mean,
it's not necessarily saying run for Tony, but like,
that's
everyone.
That was Mercedes and Tony at the All In event. But that creates a problem in and of itself. So your best women on your roster are WWE alumni. That's not good. Like, you're establishing, especially when I'm sure they're gonna bring in Dakota Kai. I'm sure they're gonna try and bring in Cora Jade. I'm sure they're gonna want to try and bring in Priscilla Kelly, which makes sense. It'll bolster your roster more. Bro, that's not good to establish that your main event women's pictures only. This is WWE. When you have Megan Bain, you have Willow Nightingale, you have Jamie Hayter, like, you have Julia Hart, you have all these girls who, like, they can work and they Sky Blue, like, and they are just on your product exclusively, but now you're not featuring them as much. And you're letting that slowly phase them out, especially when, again, for as much as AEW says that it's a inclusive company sometimes, you are quite literally pushing a women's match with your women's mid-card champion for the world title. That's taking the spot away from 2 other people who could have been one against Tony Storm, one against Mercedes. To have this big conglomerate match that's not even going to be for all her titles. Like, yeah, if you were to say, like, it's for all 5 titles that Mercedes has on top of Tony's. All right, now, okay, it's
at least interesting. But
yeah, the possibility of Tony being all those champ, but now it's like, I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna. And again, I think that there's a real possibility that that's the only women's match on the All In card, which I think is egregious. But then there's Anarchy in the Arena. I will admit, it was fun. I will say, though, I think it's the worst Anarchy in the Arena match that they've had, besides the one in Coben.
I'm just not a fan of, like, the idea. I mean, like, it's cool, but you're using all of these guys who should be having, like, actual
singles matches against each other
to do this, like, nonsense. And, like, it sells tickets or whatever, and I get that the AEW crowd's a bit more, whatever the term is.
It's a fun match. I get if you're there. I get that, like, they do a lot of fun spots and stuff, but this one especially had a lot of holes. Like, you're having Kenny Omega say, play this music, and it's, bodies hit the floor, and and the song plays like 4 times during the match, back to back to back to back to back. And the reality of the situation is, it's a death match.
Yeah.
It's just dudes kick, punch, stab, kick, punch, spot, kick, punch, stab. Like, they're not.
It was long too.
It was long. It was long, and like if I'm thinking about the spots that were like, oh my, like, you know, like the big spots, the match, they only happened within like the last 10 minutes. Like, you know, it's hard to keep up. They had a quadruple box going on. It was hard. It was
That's just not wrestling.
no. It's
if you have to do all of this like outside of the box production stuff, and I'm ignoring like the like movie matches or whatever the WWE did during COVID, because those were at least decently produced.
Yes,
but if you have to put it in like 9 boxes for me to be able to see these guys who are like 100 yards away from each other, it's like, what are we doing here?
Right.
Like,
well, that was my problem with it. Is I was like, I feel like that, you know, it's hard to produce something like that. But when it's hard to produce, like, again, Kenny Omega hit a one-winged angel through an exploding table on Matt Jackson. They missed the shot. Like, to the point where they had to post on their Instagram later of the full spot. Like, all they got was him, like, they had him set it up, and they had Swerve jump, and then by the time they cut back to Omega, he had already, like, he was already here, hit the table, and then you saw the explosion of the table break, but, like, you didn't get that whole moment, and it's like, oh my God, like, it would have been so good. Like, again, I can think of, you know, Claudio's, I think he spun Swerve through, like, a speaker or something. That was cool. Swerve stomping him with like the thumbtacks on his feet. But then you do things that I'm like, dog, like, again, Jon Moxley, I'm so crazy. I'm gonna hit Willow Nightingale with a cutter. So, and then Kenny Omega hits Marina Schaefer with like a suplex. So he's beating up on girls. That's like the fun. Like, I don't know. Like, I get it was for a pop, and like I get that the match in and of itself is like a spectacle to watch, but it's like, okay, great.
But at what point, what are you sacrificing to get that?
Oh yeah, well, well, first of all, you sacrifice a title match with Omega and again, he's not a spring chicken. He needs to be doing stuff other than
There's Moxley.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the issue too. Is it's like, okay, match is done. Swerves, you know, the good guys won, whatever you want to say.
Where do we go from here?
Dude, like, the next, well, I'm not even, I will be so for real with you. I know the next match was Don Callis versus the Paragon. I had no idea that was happening.
I don't know why it's happening. I don't get what.
I didn't know they announced that shit. I did not watch that match. Like, how can you put that on after people just murdered each other?
Right.
And I know why they did it, so that Hangman and Ospreay could go out there. But, like, that, if I was anybody involved in that match, Don Callis family versus the Para, I would be pissed. I'd be like, y'all for
especially since they had, like, they did stuff with it too. They had Tanahashi and all the
exactly. They had, like, the New Japan guys come out, and like, I was like, what? I wasn't paying attention. Like, I was like, how could I pay attention when you just showed me to go through an exploding table? I don't know. I can't understand it. And again, now, so the main event was Hangman Page versus Ospreay. I will give him it. It was a fucking amazing match. They were killing. It was really good. I love that there was actual, like, psychology involved in it. Hangman hitting the Swerve moves, hitting Christopher Daniels moves, Ospreay hitting AJ Styles and Kenny Omega's moves. It all made sense. It had synergy. The one goddamn spot I wanted to actually go there and punch Tony Khan in the back of the head. Ospreay is setting up his elbow, and he's looking at Hangman. Hangman is setting up the buckshot lariat. They time it up perfectly. Because I saw what they're doing. I was like, oh, it's going to look dumb if Ospreay doesn't, like, just go for him. But then I'm like, okay, well, honestly, if Hangman jumps outside the ring, Ospreay's not going to want to get kicked in the face or lariated. So I was like, okay, now granted, Ospreay did not do this with his arm, so it didn't look like he was going for the hidden blade as much. But it was clear that it was the setup, the same one that he did with Danielson, where, like, Danielson set up for the knee, he set up for the elbow, then he jumped higher than the knee. Same thing. Goes for the elbow, Hangman clocks him with the clothesline. Oh my God. Tony Khan on commentary goes, why do you run into that? Why do you run into that move? Why would you just run into the clothesline? I'm like, Tony, dude, think for 5 seconds, bro. Like, you are the commentator on this product. You see that he sets up the elbow, like, where he puts his hands on the ropes, and you oh my God. I was like, you guys just ruined the spot. You ruined their spot. It made sense. It worked. He literally has done the same thing before. He likes to do the shootout. They have already literally, that was, again, I didn't like the promo that either of them did on Dynamite, but at least they set it up like, okay, just give me a shootout. They did a shootout spot. And the commentators were literally like, well, I don't understand. Why would he do that? Why would he do that? I'm like, and then Excalibur, thank God, was like, well, I think he was setting up the hidden blade. I'm like, oh my God, thank God somebody said it, because I thought it was pretty damn obvious.
Yeah.
Like, you think he would really run into a
Right, like you see him, like it's not like it was like quick either. Like it was setting up for it.
They sit there, and I was like, yeah, it makes sense. Again, and it makes sense too, because Hangman's coming with a little more momentum. Ospreay had to get up higher. Nope. And he got caught with the clothesline. And y'all just ruined the spot. They were cooking, and that just brought it all to a halt. Like, at least for me watching it, I was like, oh my God, can you two shut the hell up and let them wrestle? But there you go. So now Hangman is number one contender for Moxley. At All In.
Yeah.
What the hell does Swerve do? What does Will Hobbs do? What does Samoa Joe do? What do any of these people do now? Again, they already took the trios belt off the Death Riders. So it's like, I don't know what any of these people do now post them winning this match. Like, obviously, the Death Riders are still going to go help Moxley. But again, if Moxley loses to Hangman now, great. I honestly think it's the best thing for the company. But I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do long term. Like, they don't even have faces to build, really, unless you're going to bring some guy back from 3 years ago.
Well, that's the problem, is like, that whole babyface team was pretty much all their babyfaces, with the exception of the dude who just climbed Mount Everest, Darby Allin, who I thought that was going to be the guy to take the belt off Moxley. I thought that this was all going to be a ploy to get him to do it. And I'm sorry, if Moxley doesn't drop that belt at All In, you may have people turning off the product. I don't know if you've seen the ratings week to week. They had the last 3 weeks, the ratings of Dynamite, 625,000, 629,000, 575,000.
What's NXT at?
I think they're cool at like 7 or 8.
Jeez.
100,000.
It's not that long ago.
Yeah, it was. Well, AEW was doing 1 million viewers before.
Yeah, true.
They used to hit 1 million. They hit 1 million on that Rampage that Punk came out. They were doing 1 million views, like, you know, then it started being like, okay, they were 900,000, 1 million, 800,000, 1 million. Like, they were going back and forth in that range, and it's just slowly climbed down. And I can't blame them. I mean, you have a guy who's, again, the whole holding the belt hostage thing, I don't understand. Like, if everyone just started watching like old WCW NWO tapes where like Hogan was doing that storyline, there's a reason that fucking company died, bro. And it's because you did not have a champion that was defending it. You can have a heel champion that could be defending the belt on a consistent basis. Yes, they can cheat to win. Yes, they could still have a good match for 90% of the match and then cheat to end because they needed that, because they had, you know, they threw everything they did at the babyface. They couldn't do anything with it. Babyface kicks out of their finish. Oh my God, all right, I gotta cheat. You know, that's kind of my problem with John Cena.
It seems like, I was just going to mention that, it seems like cheating is his first instinct.
Yes, that's my issue. And I'm like, okay, so
which doesn't make sense to me, because he's never been a heel. So you would think, like, in his head, he'd be like, oh, I should keep going. And like after like 5 minutes, he's like, just fuck it, I gotta hit him with something.
Right. That's where, like, at least the Cody match had made a little bit of sense, because he hit him with the AA off the top rope, 1-2 kick out. Okay, you gotta hit him with the belt shot, whatever. Why are we cheating versus R-Truth? Why are we cheating versus Randy Orton? You know what I mean? And you're just burying the AA at this point. You know, like, you're not throwing everything you have at him. And yeah, I just feel like everything that Cena does sometimes, I'm like, it does seem like it's his first instinct to like cheat at every like ploy. And I'm like, okay, I feel like a heel Cena would be more like inclined to do something like, I don't know, like, he hasn't even changed his moveset. Like, even when he was a face, he was doing like some flashy stuff. I'm like, okay, so do some hard hitting moves. Like, maybe don't just toss them with the A, maybe drive them down a little bit. Like, how much it would be awesome if Cena did a pile driver. He could get away with it if he's brought Randy Orton up. Pile driver. Oh shit! Like, he just hit a pile driver. 1-2 kick out. Okay, I gotta hit him with this belt.
Yeah.
Okay, it makes sense then. Like, I also feel like too, Cena's a little bit off right now on his timing with his gimmick.
Mhm.
If he had done this a few years ago, it would have made sense. Now I feel like if you want to be a heel and do what he's doing with like ruining wrestling, dude, play into it. Do a Canadian Destroyer.
Right,
Do
dude.
super kicks. It would be mad funny if he was like, I'm gonna ruin wrestling by doing all these shindy indie spots and stuff. And then people kick out and he's like, oh, wait, what? Like, I did that so that I could like win. Like, I'm usually not a dangerous wrestler who does all these things. And now it's like, what? Like, okay, so you're hitting like, again, the belt shot, the low blowing. I'm like, eh. It just feels so.
It feels almost out of place, especially in comparison to everything that's like happened recently in WWE.
Yeah.
It feels very out of place. I mean, the closest thing I can think of is Kevin Owens when he was feuding with Sammy and feuding with
Cody.
yes, thank
Yeah.
you. That's the closest thing I can think of, but that even then wasn't like this felt like more regular heel than.
Well, that's where, like, if you go back to Roman Reigns was doing that shit where he would do a mean low blow, just like when Jey Uso's pinning him, he hits him with the low blow out of the pin. Solo coming constantly to help him, like he would always get help in his matches, but it was almost like, I don't know, it's almost like Cena cheats, but then it looks like he has enough energy where he didn't have to.
Right.
Roman would like cheat and be like, I've been hit with a
Roman hit me with a spear, and then you kick out, and then he's like, all right, like
exactly. Yeah, I guess I don't like the hitting him with the belt spot too. I don't know why, like that whole spot. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't think that would knock somebody out. Nobody's selling it right now. Like everyone's just like, again, Cody did it good like the first couple times where he just takes it to the head and you hear the thunk. But even then, like like you gotta have a finisher or something.
Another thing that bothers me, and I know that it was a different kind of match, but the match that Cody and Kevin Owens had, Cody did a lot of stuff, and he just didn't really do anything with Cena. Like, he just did his same basic move, labs, and he just didn't do anything.
Yes, I agree. Like the ladder match you're talking about,
yeah,
Kevin.
Yeah, I get that it was a ladder match, so you obviously have a little bit more leeway, but you can still use the table. You can still do other things.
Yep. Yeah, no, I didn't understand. Like, yeah, like it was like, again, they do the AA off the top rope, and I'm like again, at this point, dog, when they have the actual like tag match of Money in the Bank, brother, if Cena hits the AA, I'm not gonna think it's the end.
No.
If he hits this, maybe if he hits the super AA, I'll think it. But even then, I'm like, I don't think it doesn't feel like it's an ending anymore. Again, I would have loved if he busted out a new finisher.
Right.
Like anything too.
Well, I mean, he's done other moves before. Like, he's had different things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's finished matches in different ways. Like, I don't understand this.
Or even the STF. I haven't seen that since Chamber when he did it to.
I can't understand how he's not doing belt shot. Put him in the STF, hold him there. They're already knocked out, but then the ref was like, "Oh, he passed out. He passed out." There's your spot that like looks at least like.
Looks like you're doing something.
It looks smart. It looks different. It's not just belt shot, throw the belt, 1, 2, 3. Yep, I'm leaving. Like it feels so.
And I get like that's his gimmick, but like
it feels so Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, it's not interesting. It doesn't make me want to tune in to watch.
It just feels,
especially so they're making a huge deal out of these Cena dates, like Cena.
Right.
You would think that you'd want to tune in when it's announced that Cena's going to be there, but it's starting to get to the point where I'm just not that interested.
Right, and now, okay, so I think Cena's going to lose that Money in the Bank to set up this Cody match. Great. So then we're going to do the same. So you've had 2 title defenses since WrestleMania. You have Randy Orton and this. What are we doing right now? And you had to cheat, and you had to, you're interrupted this match. You're ruining wrestling, all this deal. I think he's just ruining like the actual product itself.
I want to know what's this going to look like in December? Like, where is this going? Because I feel like it has to go somewhere.
I agree.
I feel like this can't just be. I feel like we can't get to like Survivor Series and he's still just hot stepping it out with Travis Scott ruining wrestling.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, again, like I feel like that this is all. I really thought that a Cena end of his career thing would be like putting other people over.
Exactly.
Again, if you had said like Cena is gonna be in this faction with Austin Theory And I'm trying to think of another younger guy at the top of my head that would like work with that group. But I don't know. I think.
Even Braun, if they wanted to use him that way.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but now he's with Seth. But anybody like that, that would be like relatively like. And I think the other problem is that we just had a heel champion with Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Held the belt for so long. Did the whole like, I have the belt, I'm never dropping the belt sort of deal. But he was putting on banger match after banger match after banger match every single week. And he was wrestling like a heel.
Mm-hmm.
He was still doing like, eye pokes, eye gouges, big man spot. Like he wasn't doing anything that was like babyface related. And he cheated to pretty much win at least the latter half of all his matches. With this Cena stuff, I'm like, it just feels so like cheap.
Mm.
It feels so Jinder Mahal, you know what I mean? Where it's just like everything was like a cheap heat, like I'm gonna insult the town that I'm in.
Right.
Like everything, even Cena's promos, he's just insulting the people, and I'm like, wow, this is not like you didn't even really feud with Randy Orton because he's still talking to the crowd the whole time.
Right.
And again, every time that he does a promo, he's getting RKO'd. He's getting cross.
The problem I have with Cena is like I have two problems with this. One, it feels like they're almost trying to bury him. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the other problem is kind of just funny. Why is he selling so awkwardly?
I don't know.
Well, I want to know. It's like he gets hit with like a crossroads or an RKO, and he just does like a.
Yeah, so he gets shot with a shotgun, and I'm like, this is the WWE champion. Like, if you didn't know who John Cena was, you'd be like, what is going on?
Right, like what is this guy doing?
Like, it makes no again. Saturday Night Live main event. Cody gets him in the thing. Why did Cena not get off me? Get off me! Get off! And he run out of the ring. That's a heel move. Mm-hmm. Save it. No, gets hit with the crossroads. That's like the 4th crossroads he's taken, and been like shotgun out of the arena. Same thing. Orton was RKOing him like 3 or 4 times before they ever had that match, and I'm like, I just can't understand it. Mm-hmm. I can't. But then he kicks out during the match itself, and I'm like, what? And again, this is my issue too, because the typical person who is a fan of that would be like, well, it's because he's ruining wrestling. And I'm like, yes, he is. And that's kind of the problem here, is that I don't want to watch something where the dude is actively trying to make me not just hate him, but hate the match.
Right.
I don't want to hate the match I'm watching, or else it's a waste of time. Like, why would I want to do that? Especially when I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel right now.
Right.
It's not like I'm like, oh, but the guy who's going to win Money in the Bank is going to cash in on Cena. No chance. I actually think there's a more likelihood that Cena, there's a failed cash in on him.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think there's a more likelihood that there's a failed cash in.
I think it's going to be interesting who they end up giving it to, because I could also see I don't know what the word would be, but I can also see a version of it where someone like Solo wins it and he cashes in on Jacob instead of cashing in on, or something like that, which I feel like would almost make more sense than trying to cash in on Cena or Jay, Gunther, whoever's going to hold that belt, Rollins.
Yep, I agree with you. I think that there's a more likelihood that it's not going to be anybody who's trying to cash in on Cena. And honestly, what I think also bothers me about the Cena stuff is he's playing a chicken shit heel without ever, like, how many times did Roman Reigns cutting a promo, Brock Lesnar's music hits, and he makes the face? Cena's music hits, he makes the face. Cody's music hits, you know what I mean? Like, he looks like, oh shit. The only time they've done that was Saturday Night Live main event. Cody comes out, Cena makes the face, boom, crossroads done. And I'm like, so we're not even building to anything. So now what happens, on Raw, tonight?
Because Cena's not going to be there.
No, he's not going to be
there. I doubt Cody's going to be there. I'm probably going to save it for SmackDown.
I think Cody might be there just to, like, say something. But if he's not, then you're idiots. Because again, Cody, you mean when Cody shows up on SmackDown, what does he say?
Right.
What does he say? I'm going for the belt. No shit, but you're not fighting him at Money in the Bank for it.
And it's not like it's even happening in July either. Like, it's 3 months away at this. It's
right.
Probably, let me look up when SummerSlam is.
Oh, it's August, but yeah.
Well, no, it's in August, but I mean, like, when in August?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they're going to wait for this.
Oh, so the first weekend of August. So, I mean, even then still, you're still 2 months away.
Right. You have 2 months that you have to build now the same feud that you've been building for WrestleMania.
Right.
What more are they gonna say to each other? Cody, I want my belt back. Cena, nope, I'm ruining wrestling. So that's all you got right now. You don't have a lot of like oomph to put behind this feud right now. You don't have like, again, is Travis Scott gonna interfere again? That would be bonkers insane if you choose to do that again.
Even if The Rock interferes, like I'm not invested in it. Like I just don't. I don't care right now. I'm sure I probably care as we get closer, but
I think that this is all building towards Cena trying to turn face again. I hope that Survivor Series at least gets interesting. Like, I feel like they did all this too soon. If Cody would have came back at, let's say they did SummerSlam, it was Punk and Cena. Okay, Cody comes back, great. Now you set up a Team Cena versus Team Cody. If Team Cody wins, he gets to face Cena for the title. Great. Now you've built it. Okay, now December, it's Cody versus Cena. Cena tries to cheat, decides not to. Boom, he catches the crossroads. 1, 2, 3. Cena kind of turns face, gets to walk out on his own terms. You now have rushed it to the point where, like, so is Cena going to cheat again at SummerSlam to win, to set up Cody to face him again? Like,
right, or is Cody going to win? Then they're going to build for it until December again.
Like, I don't think anybody wanted a Cody Rhodes versus John Cena feud to last from
a year
to December. Yeah, like, that's way too much. And at that point, too, like, dude, Roman and Cody didn't even go that long.
No.
Like, they had, like, their little, like, inklings here and there, like, bloodline stuff. They never went this long with this feud. Ever. It is excessive what they're doing right now. At least how it's like planned out at this moment. Like, you cannot go week to week, every SmackDown, them two talking to each other without anybody else being involved whatsoever. That doesn't make any sense. All right, let's recap what's going to happen on Raw tonight.
All right, so we only have 2 confirmed matches so far, one of which is a squash match, presumably. We have Rusev versus Akira Tozawa, who's recently event cleared. I put death in our notes because, I mean, like, I get that it's cool. Rusev's back and that's great, but we got to do something better with him. I get that they're probably just building him up, but
I hope that what I saw online is true, that they're building to him and Sheamus.
That would be good.
That'd be enjoying that. That'd be beautiful. But also, Sheamus cannot win. Another guy they're gonna have to do a retirement match for, Sheamus. You have to let Rusev win. And then you have to have Rusev go for a title.
Yeah, I think Rusev versus Fatu would give me much joy.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, you know, it'd be actually dope, too, if you had Rusev versus Dom for the IC title, and you let Rusev, like, beat him definitively.
And I think that would be a good way to start the Judgment Day stuff, too.
Yes, exactly. Then you could start having the whole Judgment Day feud going on. It makes sense. And then, like, Rusev deserves, like, a title right now, too. Like, it's clear that again, another guy who doesn't have a lot of time left to do anything. I don't think he's going to do world champion, to be honest.
Probably. The only way I could see it is maybe doing him at Gunther when Gunther wins it back.
That would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It would also be honestly awesome if Rusev won Money in the Bank.
That could be interesting, but they're doing the qualifying match tonight, too.
Yeah,
I don't know, but announced who's in it. I doubt they're going to have him wrestle twice.
Who was in the qualifying matches?
They didn't announce, at least as of last night. They hadn't announced who was in it yet. They just knows that they're doing one. But yeah, Gunther is confirmed to be there, as is Rhea and Penta and Seth, and presumably his merry band of spray tanners.
Paul Heyman included in that bit. Yeah. He looks like a friggin' tan sausage.
But the other match they confirmed is the 6-man tag with New Day, War Raiders, and the Creed brothers.
Oh, all for the title?
Yeah.
God, I hope the Creed brothers win that.
I hope no one wins. I hope they actually just dismantle the Raw tag team divisions. It's so bad. It's horrendous. It's so bad. And what's worse is that it's not even that Raw is a bad division. It says SmackDown's is so good that it's just like, what are we doing here?
Well, yeah, it's like they won't bring any of the SmackDown tag teams, especially because they were like, okay, Fraxium, put him on SmackDown. And I was like,
and they just brought the Wyatts back on SmackDown too.
Yeah,
but what are we doing here?
I don't understand. It's like, again, see, they had something with the New Day they did for a second when they turned on Big E, and now it's like they just do.
And then they do Like it's the same like Cena heel nonsense.
Yes.
Like I just don't. What are they doing?
That's my problem. You look at this company, dude. The New Day heels, the Street Profits heels, Fatu, Dom heels, John Cena heel. You have Obafemi heel.
Yeah.
Like you have all these heel champions right now, and it's like none of them are like. Again, they're all trying to do the same, like I hold the belt hostage gimmick, and it's not working right now. And again, I hope the Creed brothers win, but even they're heels. So it's like, it's really going to be difficult for them to have, like, it's going to be really difficult for them to make it, like, super, super interesting for people to, like, want to see all of this encompassing right now. Especially, like, they have no feuds right now.
Yeah.
They have no feuds in this company and no baby faces to like take titles. And when Jey Uso, I think the smartest thing they did was have him defend that title against Seth Rollins on Raw to at least make it seem like, yeah, like you got one guy there who's willing to do anything. But at the same time, too,
at the same time, Jay's not the right guy to do that because he's not an established like main event champion guy.
Right.
So when they had that, I mean, I guess this works in their favor a little bit. But when him and Rollins had the match, I was like, it's a 50-50 whether Rollins just takes it off of him.
Right.
And like, I guess that works for what they're trying to do. But at the same time, I would think you wouldn't really want that for your.
Well, that's what's so too is then like, I think that they could have done everything that they did in that match with just letting Jey Uso win. Now you've had literally his last 2 title defenses were disqualifications.
Yeah.
And now he's not going to defend it at Money in the Bank.
Especially since he beat Gunther the way he did.
Right? He made him tap out.
Yeah.
Again, for whether you agree with that, which I did not agree with that, but whether you agree or you don't, it at least was a push for somebody new to be champion. Next title defense, disqualification. Next title defense, disqualification.
Right.
Now,
nothing at Money in the Bank.
Nothing at Money in the Bank.
Probably have
something going to be Gunther.
July at Saturday Night Main Event.
Well, it's probably Saturday Night Main Event with Gunther.
Are they doing Evolution and another pay-per-view, or are they just doing
probably Saturday Night Live Main Event and Evolution?
Those are the same weekend though. So is that all?
Oh, really?
Is that I didn't know doing in July?
Yeah, it seems like it. I guess maybe an NXT event.
Maybe,
yeah. But other
than SummerSlam,
because it's early August, so yeah. But still, like, I don't know how I feel about that because it's like, so Jay's not gonna defend his belt till August now,
right?
He literally is not.
He has a whole month in between Money in the Bank and, or actually 5 weeks in between Money in the Bank and
it's Saturday Night. But he's got to drop that belt, brother.
Yeah, or at least do something with it. Like he's just.
If they were smart, they would have him defend the title tonight.
Yeah,
they would have him go against somebody who.
That's what he should do, honestly. I mean, he should just do
open challenges.
Yes, he should just do an open challenge and obviously win, but you can at least put these guys on TV that you have 95,000 of.
Yes. Well, the other part of it too is like, okay, so now you have this like Seth Rollins Dangerous Alliance group, which I actually like the storyline, but now you have this as part of your thing, and you've halted Punk from going to the world title picture. Punk has said he wanted to be the world champion a while ago. Now he's halted all this to go fight Rollins and his merry band of groups.
Right.
Sami Zayn came out on Raw and said, I want to be world champion.
Yeah.
Has not actually gone.
Inevitably, Roman, when he comes back, he's going to go after Rollins.
When Roman comes back, he logically should want to go for the world title, who he has still not had a rematch against. All these things encompassing are like, you have all these guys who are halted in being a world champion right now to have all these disqualification victories in favor of Jey Uso. It's not getting anybody like more credibility right now. And honestly, like,
and it's getting old. I feel like that's a big problem with the WWE product right now. It's just getting stale.
It's getting stale as hell right now. And I'm not gonna lie to you, they're relying too much on, whoa, who's that masked guy who just came out? Right. It's Bronson Reed. Whoa, who's that masked guy? It's Jeff Cobb. Like, I don't care anymore.
Cobb, what is
JC Mateo? JC Mateo, bro. And I'm just glad they changed his gear.
Oh my God. I'm glad they don't use his full name. At least they just call him JC, which at least is kind of.
Yeah, JC's fine.
Because you can be like, oh, Jeff Cobb.
Well, that's what I was thinking. So his name is Jeff Cobb Mateo.
Right, like, what are we doing?
Like, oh my God, like that's so horrendous. It sounds like a creative player. Like Like, I don't understand that when you could have just had JC.
Yeah.
JC makes sense.
We just call him Jeff Cobb.
Yeah, you could just call him Jeff Cobb, but if you just want to call him JC, yeah, this is JC. All right, cool.
Right.
JC Mateo. What Samoan is named Mateo? Like, I don't understand.
Or you could even just call him Cobb, because I feel like that's what a lot of these guys are doing now. They just call him like, oh, it's just Solo, or it's just Fatu. Or
that actually makes a lot of sense. They could have just called him Cobb.
Yeah.
Even honestly, if you're really into it, Jeff Mateo, whatever. Like, at least that sounds like a normal name. JC Mateo sounds like a backyard wrestler.
It's just made up. It sounds like you pressed the random button.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It sounds like you were creating a play, you forgot to choose a name, and then the game chose it for you.